Let's move on with the philosophical process. What are the processes? What are the philosophical processes being used when we are philosophizing, when we are doing philosophy? Let's have number one, holistic perspective. Sometimes they call it as synoptic perspective. Holistic perspective from the holism is the supreme philosophical method whereby the person views the quality of the object as a whole. Let's try this example. A holistic doctor Dao, who believes holistic care considers the relationship between the mind, the body, and spirit, and doesn't just provide patients with medications, which normally some of the doctors do. Kapag pumunta ka sa doktor, check up ka at para malaman kung anong gamot ang pwedeng ibigay sa iyo para gumaling yung iyong nararamdaman. Ngayon, in that case, that is not considered holistic doctor. That doctor doesn't use holistic perspective. A holistic doctor or a doctor na gumagamit daw ng holistic perspective is i-consider niya. I-consider niya, man sabi, instead this doctor uses ways to improve life balance. I-consider daw niya yung pag-improve ng life balance and solve health problems from the root cause, such as high stress or bad nutrition. So in short, yung holistic doctor daw, pag ikaw na pasyente kay pumunta sa kanya at sinabi mong nararamdaman mo, hindi lang niya gagamutin ang nararamdaman mo, ang sakit mo, kundi ikaw consider raw niya yung mga ibang bagay kung bakit nagkakasakit ang tao as a whole. So, sabi, the supreme philosophical method whereby the person views the quality of the object or of the problem as a whole. Sinusolusyonan, hindi lang yung specific na cause ng problem, but the whole causes of the problem. Next is analytic perspective. Analytic perspective is the opposite of holistic. Kung sa holistic, tinitingnan natin yung kabuuan ng problema. Dito, we will analyze natin yung bawat cause ng problema. So, what is analytic approach or analytic perspective? This is the mental or actual breaking down of a larger system into its parts or details, which is used for deeper understanding. So normally, when we are solving problem, we are using analytic perspective. We do analyze. So, pag nagsosolve tayo ng problema, ina-analyze natin one by one these causes of what is the real cause of this problem. Bine-breakdown natin into parts and details, and we studied part by part. We analyze part by part. Yung kanina, in sa holistic, we study the problem as a whole. Look at the example. Let's try this example of analytic approach. A traditional philosophical problem is, or a traditional philosophical question is, does God exist? Normal yan. Kahit sinong ordinaryong tao, kuminsan natatanong yan, kuminsan nag-iisa ka. May Diyos nga ba? Nag-i-exist ba si God? Di ba? That question, if we will use analytic philosophy approaches it by saying, what do you mean by God? Because different religions have wildly different ideas about what the word God means. In some other religion, they have their, for example, in Muslim, they call their God Allah. In some other religions, the meaning of God for them is different from the meaning of God to Roman Catholic or to Christians. So, if you are going to answer that question, does God exist? Malilito, maaaring sagot mo hindi tatanggapin ng ibang religion because you did not consider the meaning of God in the religion. So, what are you going to do? You can approach the question of God's existence. You have to define your terms more clearly. In analytic approach, we break it down into details. So, God, meaning of God to Roman Catholic, meaning of God to Christian, meaning of God to Muslim. Then, focus with one. Does God exist? Based on the definition of God to Roman Catholic. Does God exist? Based on the definition of God to Muslim, and others. So in that case, you will answer that question based on the definition of its religion. Okay? So let's move on. Next approach is this what we call dialectic perspective or dialectic approach. Okay, what is dialectic perspective? This is a discourse between two or more people holding different points of view about a subject, which is used to establish the truth through reasoned arguments. Normally, this approach is used in a group of people or sa collegial body, for example, in the Congress, di ba? Or when two people want to find an accurate information or answer to a certain question. Normally, ginagamit ito ng mga nagdedebate. Kasi, look, a discourse between two or more people holding different points of view. In order daw for us to gain more knowledge, we want to test whether our opinion, whether our point of view is acceptable to others. So, if that is the case, ipe-present mo sa kanila yung argument mo. So, then, after you presented to them, of course, they will give comment. When they give comment, accept it, whether it is constructive or good or bad comment, accept it. Ngayon, after you presented them, then they give a comment, dinegate nila, in-oppose nila, then give again your rebuttal. Sometimes we call dialectic approach as the question and answer method. You ask question, he answers your question, then you give your comment, then he gives again a rebuttal or comment to your comments also. So that is dialectic perspective. Let's give example. Okay, for example, these two persons, Shem and Rob. Shem presented his argument. Sabi niya, courage is endurance of soul. But Rob said it is considered false because courage is a fine thing and ignorant endurance is not a fine thing. So Rob then argues and Shem agrees that this further Rob's premises, so it implies that Shem's statement is false. Kasi sabi niya, courage is endurance of soul. But according to Rob, it is considered false because courage is a fine thing. But ignorant endurance is not a fine thing. Therefore, courage is not endurance of the soul. Look, so with that, through question and answer, through exchange of point of views, mapapasang-ayon mo, yun ang purpose mo eh. Kaya nga kayo gumagamit na yan, dialectic method, gusto mo mapasang-ayon dun sa argument mo when you presented it to others. Pag sila nagbigay ng comment, of course, magke-question yan, tatanungin, sasagutin mo. Pag sila ay na-convince sa sagot mo, sasang-ayon sila sa'yo. Okay, that is what we call dialectic method. Sometimes we call it as question and answer method. Let's proceed with the next, this time deductive perspective. When we say deductive perspective or deductive approach, the mind proceeds from a general conclusion to specific instances to establish a valid conclusion. This is the opposite of inductive. In inductive method or perspective, the mind proceeds from specific instances to a general conclusion to arrive at a certain truth or knowledge. So, let's have first the deductive perspective. Example. Okay, look. In deductive perspective or deductive approach or method, the premises must be true in order the conclusion must be true. For example, our major premise is all Filipinos are resilient. Then, we give minor premise. Our minor premise is Coco is a Filipino. Therefore, if all Filipinos are resilient and Coco is a Filipino, therefore we can conclude that Coco is resilient because Coco is a Filipino and all Filipinos are resilient. But if we will change, for example, if I'll say some Filipinos are resilient, then minor premise, Coco is a Filipino. Is it correct to say Coco is resilient? Hindi na. Pwedeng sabihin na rin, how about if Coco belongs to those Filipinos who are not resilient. So it's either Coco is resilient or Coco is not resilient if we will change it with some. Kaya nga, major premise must be true in order for you to arrive at true and valid conclusion also. That is inductive. Okay. Another example. The major premise is the child always comes running when I ring this bell. The minor premise is he is not coming. What is your conclusion? The conclusion is I haven't rung the bell. Is the conclusion valid? Yes, because from the major premise, the child always comes running when I ring the bell. In the minor premise, he is not coming. Therefore, I did not ring the bell or I have not rung the bell. Diba? So, that is what we call deductive approach in doing philosophy. Okay, let's move on with the opposite of deductive. This time, inductive. Inductive perspective, the mind proceeds this time from specific instances to a general conclusion to arrive at a certain truth or knowledge. Let's try these examples. Look, major premise. The left-handed people I know use left-handed scissors. So lahat daw nung alam kong left-handed people ay gumagamit ng left-handed scissors. Therefore, I will conclude that all left-handed people use left-handed scissors. Look, from specific, the left-handed people I know, yung specific, yung mga left-handed people na alam ko ay gumagamit ng left-handed scissors. Ngayon, we come up with the conclusion na all left-handed people use left-handed scissors based on my specific premise na the left-handed people I know use left-handed scissors. Kaya ako nakakonclude na all left-handed people use left-handed scissors. Okay? So ito, mas better. The major premise is, the chair in the living room is red. The chair in the dining room is red. The chair in the bedroom is red. So, the chair in the living room is red. The chair in the dining room is red. The chair in the bedroom is red. So, I can come up with the conclusion that all of the chairs in the house are red. So, from specific, one chair in the living room, another in the dining room, another in bedroom, three specific instances. So, all of them are red. Kaya, nakakonclude ako na all the chairs in the house are red. So, from specific to general. So, yung kanina, from general to specific. Okay? So, the last is romantic perspective or romantic approach or method. In romantic perspective, the immediate sensation or feelings aroused by nature and events are valued over reason. Ano ito? The immediate sensation and intense feelings aroused by nature and events are valued over reason. Yan natin. So, they said that some philosophers feel that for human beings, it's our own day-to-day living that is the center of our search for the truth. Yes, that's true. Sabi nga siya, as long as living in this world, we are always searching for the truth. We are always searching for the meaning of everything in this world in order for us to acquire knowledge. Reason and the evidence of our senses are important. Yes, we are using reason in order to answer the question, in order to find the solution to the problem. No doubt, sabi nga niya, but they mean nothing to us unless they touch our needs, our feelings, our emotions. Only then they acquire meaning, and this meaning is what the romantic perspective is all about. For example, in the classroom, and normally it happens, may isang estudyante na laging absent. Normally, what the teachers are doing is, they keep on investigating. Bakit ang batang ito ay laging absent? Di ba? Ganang ginagawa. Okay, so after the investigation, at nalaman ng teacher na, kaya pala ito laging absent, upon may investigation, ay lagi naglalaro, lagi lang nagkakating class, laging naglalaro ng computer, or lagi pupunta sa mall, etc. In short, laging nagkakating class. Ngayon, ang ginawa ng teacher, dinrap niya because after research, meaning of the situation, napatunayan niya na kaya pala tayo ma-absent, lagi lang nagkakating class. Pero kung ang klase ng teacher ay ganito, kinausap yung bata, masinsinan, heart-to-heart talk ang ginawa niya. Pinakwenta niya dun sa bata kung bakit lagi ma-absent, bakit lagi nang naglalaro. Then later on, habang nagkikwento yung bata, halimbawa, nakwento niya na kaya ayaw niyang pumasok lagi is siya ay binubuli ng kanyang mga classmates. So mas better pa sa kanya mag-stay na lang sa computer center or kung saan man. So, doon naramdaman ng teacher ngayon, yun pala ang reason. So, ang ginawa niya, nung maramdaman yun, naawa siya sa bata, so binigyan niya ng chance. At sinabihan niya na, pumasok ka, ako ang bahala sa iyo. Pag nasa loob ka ng klase, sasabihan ko mga klase mo na huwag kang bubulihin. So, yung pangyayaring yun, naramdaman ng teacher, the teacher's immediate sensation and intense feeling aroused by nature and events are valued over reason. So, yun daw yung romantic. Kaya tinawag na romantic because of we are using our feelings and emotions over our reason in order to solve the problem. Maraming ganyan, di ba? For example, sinabi ng teacher, okay, deadline ngayon ng pasahan. Ayan, ay hindi nakamit ng deadline. Ang daming reason ng mga estudyante para tanggapin ng teacher yung kanilang mga ginawa, which is late. Ngayon, anong gagawin? Kuminsan magdadrama, kuminsan iiyak sa teacher, kasi po ganito kaya hindi ko na-submit kasi po wala po kaming internet, wala po kaming pampaprint, etc. So, ginamit yung emotion. So, with that, the student touches the heart of the teacher. O sige na nga, submit mo na dahil dyan sa iyong mga sinabi sa akin, okay, accept mo na. Not knowing na yung pala ginawa lang ng bata, parang dahilan, ganun mga style sabihin, ay, dramahan mo lang yan si sir, ay, dramahan mo lang yan si ma'am, i-accept niya yung gawa mo So, kuminsan, yun din ang pangit sa romantic method. Kuminsan ginagamit, umaabuso para magawa nila yung gusto. So, dapat is sometimes, we need pa rin to balance yung emotion and feeling and reason. Okay? So, in all aspects of doing philosophy, first, of course, is reason. Ngayon, wag naman pure reason. Samahan din natin ng emotion and feelings. And yung romantic. Kasi, pag pure reason, parang dictator ka na yan. Kung anong sabihin mo, yun yung masusunod. Samahan mo rin ng feelings and emotion, and that is romantic perspective.